welcome back to my channel. I'm Nicole. I'm a 33-year-old cash budgeter in Virginia. I am currently a stay-at-home mom to two littles and am currently on a financial journey to get my family more comfortable and to get us out of debt. Today's video is going to be a budget with me for our weekly spending last week. And if that sounds like content that you would be interested in, please stay tuned. So what we're going to do today is we are going to unstuff our cash stuffing or our expenses binder that we stuffed last week together. And basically, whatever is left, we are going to count it up and see what we have to work with for this coming week. I do apologize if this video is a little rough. I normally do not do this on camera, and my 3-year-old is in the other room watching Moana. So we are going to do our best to get through this as smoothly as possible. So I have my little cash planning sheet that we worked on from our cash stuffing that I'm going to reference to see what we had, what we stuffed, so what we have left. And I did take all of my trackers out because I need to redo my trackers. So those have not been put back in yet. So that's why I need to be able to look at my cash planning sheet to remember what we had planned. I will say, I don't think last week was a super spendy week, but I do think we had some unplanned spends. So let's just see how it works out. Okay, so our weekly buffer, we had put $40 in, and we have 10, 20, 1, 2. So we have $22 left in there. Childcare had 50. Oh, I did have a tracker in here. And what did I do with that 50? I pulled, so we did not use that 50 for childcare. I did not send my son to his babysitter last week, but I already pulled that money in. Oops, I already pulled that money that we put in childcare to fund my mini savings challenges that I did yesterday. So that is where the money came from that I did for my Monday minis video from this week. Costco got 50 and it still has 50. Hopefully we can put that back in. Eating out. Okay, let's see. Eating out had, we go 70, and we have, before I forget, let's add the 50. So eating out has 20, 35, 45 left. That's pretty good. I believe we only ate out one time this weekend. I think we got Subway, which is not my favorite, but my husband wanted it, so that's what we got. And gas buffer did not get anything. Grocery had gotten $50 and that's gone. Okay, so we spent all of that. And what else got money? My husband, he got $40, which I did have to pull, and it's in my wallet because I have to go put the $40 in his checking account because he spent all his money and then some probably. And he has his weekly golf league tomorrow that he has to use his card for because they do not take cash. So I have to go put that $40 in his little spending account to cover for his golf league tomorrow. So all his money is gone. The kiddos had $10 and their $10 is still in here. Hopefully we can give that back to them. All right, my cash, I got $30 and I still have $30 in here, but I know I did spend it. So I will have to pull that. I will not be getting that money back. And then what else did we do? The only thing else we did was our utilities buffer, which that is going to stay in there for when we do our bills for our next paycheck. So that is everything out of my expenses binder. So it looks like, according to my quick little calculations that I did, we ended up with $157. So let's just do a quick count and make sure that is correct. We have 50, 40, 30, 35, and $2, which, yes. Okay, so That quickly, I just forgot how much it was. It was 157, I think. 50, 40, 30. Yes, okay. Okay, so we have $157 left in cash, excuse me, that we are going to work with. And here's how we are going to do this. So this is the Humble Beginnings Budget Planner from Sarah Marie. I believe she does have a YouTube channel and she has a Etsy shop. I believe it's Sarah Marie Stickers is her tag. So I will tag her below. And I've used this book in many different ways so far this year. And I think this is going to become my like YouTube and content book because there are some things that I use my big happy planner for that at this point in the YouTube journey that I am starting, I'm not comfortable sharing or my husband is not comfortable sharing. So I'm going to use this as what I show. So my big happy planner is what I use for all of our like detailed budgeting, but for now this is what we're going to use for you guys. So let's take a look at July. Like I said, so our last payday. Our last payday was the 17th. I did not do anything for that weekend because that would have been part of the week before, and I did not use this I did not start the month using this. I was using the Happy Planner. So we're only going to be looking at last week, which was the 21st through the 27th. And then we are going to plan the following or the last 4 days of the week, which is going to be the 28th through the 31st, because we get paid again on the 31st. And then from there on, my budgets are going to go Friday to Thursday or Friday to Friday, depending on the week. So this is what last week was looking like. So this is how we got our numbers. So we had going in on the 21st, which was that Monday, I believe, when we did our cash stuffing, we had a bank balance of $386. I did a deposit of, according to my cash planning sheet, I did a deposit. It ended up being $500, and I took $10 out of our grocery budget to cover. But I did a deposit of $500, which I will put right here. But I'm going to make a note. I did 200 of that straight to our savings account. So let's just use the $300 for the sake of this. And then we had $490 that we cash stuffed together in our cash stuffing. So altogether, we had $1,176 that we were working with. Out of that money, we had $280 that needed to be paid towards debt, which we did. And then this right here is how our spending broke down. Most of this is what we did in cash, except for grocery and my husband. Those numbers are different because I had already completed a Walmart pickup order for $40 before we did our cash stuffing, which is why my grocery envelope only got the 50, but we did spend the full 90. So we will put that like this because we did spend that full 90. And then this is where I need to figure out where else we spent money from. So we did put the 150 in our sinking fund. We did not spend the $50 for childcare, but I used, okay, sorry for that pause. My son came in and he's having a whole thing with a Band-Aid today. Where were we? Childcare. So we did not spend the $50 on childcare, but we did use that to fund our mini challenges. So those were not budgeted, but we were able to do those with the rollover. And I'm going to have to pause one more time because my son is crying. Okay, sorry about that again. Um, I will say, like I said, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I have a 3.5-year-old and a 16-month-old. My 16-month-old is napping right now, but my 3.5-year-old is obviously still awake. Um, and filming these videos with my kids home is tricky. So I definitely appreciate you guys bearing with me while I figure out how to do this, because I can't just go in a room and shut the door because my kids are very young. So um, I will say my son does start his preschool program on, I believe, August 25th. We found out that he did get accepted into our city's preschool program, and it was definitely very, very um, I'm very thankful that he was accepted into the program. And it did lift a little bit of stress because we did have him enrolled in a private preschool because we know preschool would definitely benefit him right now. But obviously, private preschool you have to pay for. And I've been trying to figure out how we were going to budget in that cost. So the fact that he was able to get into our public preschool program, you can only get into our public preschool program if you have certain exceptions, and he qualified under a developmental delay because he is in speech and occupational therapy. So that right there, it just means that he will be able to start learning his foundations for school and get those like fundamentals now versus us trying to put him in a private preschool who may not be equipped to handle those type of things, or waiting until he would start kindergarten, which everyone in the city has access to, obviously, and then him starting off behind. So the pressure of coming up with that money when knowing it's what your child needs is one of the things as a parent that is so conflicting because you want to do what's best for your child, but there's just certain things that you just do not have the money for. So anyway, yes, he will be starting preschool in a few weeks, about a month, and it'll be a half day program. So I will have half the day where I will only have my 16-month-old and should be able to do a little bit more filming without as many interruptions. But anyway, let's get back to what we were doing. So our mini challenges, I believe, I ended up with $55, and I did a So I think it ended up being $67. So I'm going to write that right here. Um, but I'm not sure where that extra money came from, that $17. So we will see. I think it came out of savings, honestly, because I pulled a bunch of money from our savings account to do some condensing, and I think I was just pulling some extra money, and I will figure out that later to basically refund our savings accounts. But I think it ended up being $67 that we put in our mini challenges. Um, and then my Costco envelope, we did not spend that money, and we still have that money. Eating out, we only spent, let's see, eating out, I believe, was the $22. So we put 70, and we spent 22. So we only had 45 left in the envelope, but I pulled the $3. Anytime I get the dollar bills, um, I put those towards saving challenges. So that's probably where three of those dollars from the mini challenges came from. So we're just going to write the 22 right here. And that was a difference of $48. Grocery we did spend. And now let's go back to my husband. So I budgeted him to spend $120 total. I gave him $40 in cash, and then I put $80 in his account. How much did he spend? He spent, so this golf right here, I don't know if you can see that. Yes. So this golf right here, it was planned, but planned on short notice, which drives me crazy when he does that, especially when he golfs every Tuesday. Um, he took off work early on Friday and went and golfed with his friends. So this says he spent $114, which I'm shocked about. I technically went over, I believe, of course. Okay. The this little A right here, I want to explain that real quick. That means I used my credit card, which, yes, I know we're not supposed to be using the credit cards, but I will say that I track all of my expenses on my credit card. And when we do our monthly closeout and unstuffing, you will see what I do with that. So for now, this $27 will be covered with the $30 that I pulled out of my envelope. And then the 25 that I spent is what will come out of our bank account because it did come out of our bank account. I did a spur of the moment purchase. Beezy's Things, if you have not checked out her Etsy shop, please do. But she posted on her Instagram that she had some imperfect binders that she was selling for half off pretty much. And I jumped on it because I am in the process of upgrading a lot of my binders to these bigger binders, and I want them to have the snap closures. And I did just get two new binders in from Simply Budgeted, which I'm not sure. I did film myself setting up those binders, but I'm not sure what video that clip is going to be a part of or if I'm even going to share it. But this is nothing against Simply Budgeted or her shop, but her binders were a little smaller than I thought they were. And I use the PVC envelopes, which you have this extra like lip up here. And when you close her binders, when it's sitting like this, these envelopes stick out of her binders a little bit. It's not horrible. It's perfectly fine. But it wasn't what I was expecting. So when I saw that Beezy's Things was doing some discounted binders, I wanted to get another one. I know. It's horrible. And then, okay, so let's keep going. So I spent 52, which was $22. I was over by $22. And then my weekly buffer envelope, I believe we took it all out. This is why I need my trackers, and I need to do my trackers this following week. But I had $40 in the buffer, and I believe we had 22 left. So we did take $18 out of the buffer, and I think that was to cover. Is this all in frame? I don't think so. Help cover this Walmart purchase right here. We went to Walmart on Saturday, and most of this was groceries, but we did have to get a few. I had to get some more medication for my daughter who is teething really bad, and then we did have to pick up some more dog food while we were there, which was not budgeted. So I believe that's where that $18 came from, which then left us with positive 22 right there. All right, so then real quick, let's add all this up. Actually, I want to leave that blank because I did not spend the $50 at Costco, nor did we use it for we didn't need it for anything else. But if possible, I would really like to leave that. You know what? No, we'll leave it as a 0 and I will put it as a plus 50. And if we come back to it, um, I'll put that 50 back in because I do. So this is obviously just my expenses binder, but my Costco envelope, it's an expense, yes, but it's also kind of like a sinking fund because Costco is just so expensive when we go. Um, Okay, so let's add this up now. Again, I am so sorry that this is so like bumpy, but I normally don't do this on camera. Okay, so we need to figure out what we actually spent. So we did the 150, the 22, all of the 90, 114, 52, and 18, plus the 67. So we spent 513 out of this, which means 87. So we were positive $87. Okay, I'm so confused right now. This is why I don't do this on camera because in my head, what I'm doing makes sense. But when you sit here and try and do the math, it does not make sense. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to see if I can figure this out off camera, and then I will be back. Okay, so I'm not really sure. I've done the math, and it's telling me that we should be $87 in the good based off what I budgeted. But I realized that there are a few things that we need to take into account of, which the $27 I spent on my American Express card needs to be in here separately. So we're gonna write this as Nicole Amex. And I did not budget to spend anything, but I did spend $27, which needs to go, that needs to go back on my card, which means up here, I'm going to change this number because I technically only spent 25. Yes, I only spent 25 from our checking account or cash, which actually put me at a positive $5. Okay. And then we also I went to the dentist, and I did not budget for the dentist because the last few times I've gone to the dentist, I've not had to pay anything, but I forgot I've either been pregnant or breastfeeding or something the last few times I've gone to the dentist, and now I am not. So I got the fluoride on my teeth, and I realized I hadn't done that in a while. So that was what the $35 was. So let's write in the dentist. And now I will know going ahead, I need to budget that, because until someone tells me otherwise, it's a good idea to get fluoride on your teeth. So now I think we're going to be negative, which is where I thought we should be. So let's do some quick math again. A whopping $2. That makes more sense to me. That makes a lot more sense to me. Which I know it's still confusing because I have this cash right here. But remember, the 27 and the 35, what is that? 27, 35. That needs to go on my American Express card. So that is 62. So 50, 60, and the 2. So this money needs to go to my American Express card, which then leaves us with what? We had what? 157 minus 62, 95. And since, like I said, this is the first time I'm doing it this way, okay, I'm not going to sit here and keep playing with this because honestly, it's giving me a headache. Um, Bottom line is, I know we need to put this $62, or I'm sorry, $67. How much was this? I needed 27 for my American Express charge, and I needed so 62. So I pulled an extra 5. Okay, so this $62 will go towards my American Express. So I will put that in my debt binder for my American Express card. So we took care of these. The $67 that has already been put for my mini challenges, which is possibly why I'm also confused. This $50 right here for Costco, I want to put that back into my Costco little envelope right here, because 20, 40, 50. Like I said, I want this to kind of be a little bit of a sinking fund because we do need to go to Costco this weekend after we get our next paycheck. Ow, I hit my elbow. Okay, so that leaves us with a grand total of 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 in cash. And I've already looked at my bank account this morning, and my bank balance was $229. And then now we have a cash rollover of 45. So this week is going to be a mess. Actually, that's wrong. The 45 plus 85. So, whoops. It's actually, we have a cash rollover of 85 because I technically still have the cash. I have not put the cash in the bank for my husband's golf yet. So 85 for that, which then gives us $229 plus 85, a whopping total of $314 to work with this week. So that gives us $314 for this week. And this week is going to be a very low spend week, partly because we have no money, but also just in general. Let's go over our planned expenses for this week. And remember, it's only 4 days. It's only Monday through Thursday because we will do another one on Thursday. My son has his occupational therapy appointment tomorrow, but that does not cost us anything because we are using our HSA account right now. Let me make sure I did not write that down. I did not. Okay. And then tomorrow we have golf, which, well, we do not have golf. My husband has golf, and that will be $32, which is written in there. We have our cell phone bill, our Disney bundle, and our Peacock subscriptions. Those are automatic bills. Those come out of our accounts on the certain days every month. So that is what this bank balance pretty much means, is that's what this is. So the money that is in our bank account is not to be touched because it's for our bills. I also have my student loan right here because I believe my student loan was budgeted last week. And it I the normal day of the month that transaction takes out is normally on, I believe, the 26th, which fell on a weekend. So that will end up taking out either today or tomorrow now, which I hate when it does it because it always throws me off. So that money is still sitting in our account as well. So now what we need to do is we need to add all of this up and make sure that we are in the positive. So let's add up our fixed expenses of the bills remaining, which is 212. And then we have the golf. I did give my husband a I'm giving him a $20 buffer because he will inevitably, like I said, he will spend money. And then I did do a $20 buffer for groceries because over the weekend, I forgot to get some milk, and my kids drink milk like crazy, and I use milk in my coffee. So we're going to need to stop and get milk. And I'm sure there's going to be something I will need for dinner as well. So I just gave myself a small little $20 cushion for that. So right now our budgeted is going to be 72, and we will stuff that. So now let's make sure the 72 and the 212 is 284. So we take the 314 minus the 284, and that gives us $30. So we are starting off $30 in the positive somehow. Also, I want to note that these numbers are definitely different, which I don't know how it all works. Like I said, if it's not coming across that way in here, it's because it's hard to explain. It's making sense in my head. I'm sorry if this was really hard to follow. Um, but let's quickly just go ahead and cash stuff back into my expenses. Like I said, I have the $40 for my husband's golf. Instead of the 32, I'm just going to put the full 40 back in our checking account, or his checking account, excuse me. That's in my wallet already because I need to go out and do that today or tomorrow morning. And I will probably stop and do it tomorrow after my son's OT appointment. So let's just do a quick $20 into our grocery. What is this? Oh, it's Costco. So let's do $20 in grocery. And then we'll do another $20 in my husband, 5, 10, 15, 20. And then somehow we have an extra $5, which I'm just going to put in my buffer because I'm not sure where that money came from. Okay, that is it. This was wild. Like I said, I normally do not do this part of my budget on camera because it's so confusing and so just back and forth and all of that. So if you watch this video, leave me a thumbs up emoji in the comments for a job well done, because I'm actually very proud of you for staying in this video if you have watched it this far. And again, thank you for watching, and for everyone who has started subscribing to my channel. We are slowly gaining some friends around here. Definitely leave a comment, introduce yourself, let me know why you like this video or this type of content, where you're at in your financial journey or your budgeting. And if you have any tips or any pointers, feel free to let me know, because this is getting crazy. I do plan to try and do these videos weekly. So hopefully as I do them, they will start being a little bit more smooth, as well as we are going to do a month planning for August coming up as well. So again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up in the comments, as well as hit the like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better